Hi, everybody. It's Gene Simmons, and you're not. Ha ha! This is KISS My Kollectibles podcast, but you know that.
Look, it's rock and roll!
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the next episode of Kiss My Kollectibles, your source for vinyl, toys, bootlegs, and more. I am one of your co-hosts, Jason Herndon, and with me, as always, is...
As always, Andrew Scambatti. Can't get rid of me if you've tried. And you've tried several times.
I've tried, yeah.
Several times.
It's been a long time, folks, and I want to apologize. It's has everything to do with my personal life and my job. Won't get too deep into it, but I have been under the gun. Ha ha ha. No, okay. I've been under the gun with my job for the past several weeks for Record Store Day and lots of internal things going on there. But anyway, I haven't been able to do anything, not record, not buy any KISS stuff, not even answer my PMs. So I'm very sorry for all the people that have reached out to me. I promise I'll make a concerted effort to get caught back up. So anyway, today...
It's been a while, man. It's been
a long time.
It's been a long time. But, we're back. For anybody watching this, we did post 2 episodes pretty close together. We did a bootleg episode with the great Julian Gill, and then we also did an episode with Steve Steerwalt from the Indianapolis KISS Expo. So
correct.
If you're watching this, go back and watch those 2 before you watch this one. So pause it and go back and watch those 2.
That's right. So today we're going to get into an interesting story about how I obtained the vault, but more on that in a little bit. It's pretty funny and interesting. But so I think before we get into all that, don't you have some stuff, Andrew? A couple things that
I got a couple things. Well, one thing that I purchased, one thing that I was given. Now, anybody that knows me knows I'm a huge 70s collector. I love 70s stuff, magazines, whatever have you. I just love it. So I've always been looking for articles, whether it be in magazines or whatever, just on something that happened with KISS. And I've always been looking for KISS Meets the Phantom stuff. And I've been looking for a KISS Meets the Phantom TV guide. And whenever you try to buy the clipping is always expensive, and it's always in back condition. You can't find it. And I thought to myself, I was like, man, what's the cover story for that TV guide? And I found out what the cover story was. It's Mork and Mindy. So I did not search for KISS. I searched for Mork and Mindy. And in doing so, I paid significantly less than I've ever seen this for. And it's in pretty good shape. All the pages are there. All the little advertisements are still in here as well, too, that come in a TV guide. And,
very neat.
And the KISS article is in here. Advertising KISS Meets the Phantom of the Park. That was the movie of the week this week that this came out. So this was local programming, October 28th to November 3rd, 1978.
That's pretty cool, man.
So I'm not going to tell you how much I paid for it. I did not pay a lot for this, and I have seen them go for quite a bit when they mention KISS. So I made sure when I searched for it, I didn't put anything KISS. I just put Mork and Mindy, and I found it, and it showed up on my doorstep, and it's cool. I love stuff like this.
Me too.
I love stuff like this. So it looks like Bertha Gusick is the one that had this before.
I was going to ask you who the name was.
Yeah, it's Bertha Gusick, 111 Springfield Street in Chicopee, Massachusetts. And it's funny, this did not come from Chicopee, Massachusetts. This came from someplace else. So this has been in many hands. This has been in many hands. But I'm glad it's in the collection. And good old Bertha, sweet lady. She even did the crossword puzzle for me.
Oh.
So, but what's so cool about these, and this is why I like reading the older magazines as well too, it's like a snapshot of what was going on in that time. You could read the articles and see what they were trying to give away, and it's cool. Multi-band radio of the future. Look at that thing. That's not an iPod.
That's killer.
So it's really cool. All right, so one of the other reasons why we've kind of halted episodes for a little bit is I was making a short film. Make sure you look up Case Closed, DC Comics fan film. That is my second short film of 3. So we are in mid pre-production of the third one. Anyway, at the premiere, a good friend of mine here, who's also a big KISS fan, he came out to the premiere, which also happened to be on my birthday, and he was like, "Hey, I got something for you." Now, this guy, he's a collector of sorts, but I guess it's not in his blood the same way it's in our blood or it's in the listener's blood. But so I opened this up, and it was a complete on-tour board game.
Very nice.
And it's super, super cool. Super, super cool. I would rate it, condition is probably 7 out of 10 as far as the box goes. But all the inserts are there. There are 2 versions of this game board. So this is this version of the game board that goes like this. There's also another one that would buckle like the opposite way.
Right.
Yeah. So, but it's got all the pieces in there. It's got the dice, the cards, all the play pieces. So super, super cool of him, and super cool to have this back in the collection. And I'm really, really excited. I had one years ago, and the front of the box is all torn up and all ripped and everything. But this one's in nice shape, and it was free.
I don't even know if all of my stuff is. I don't even know if mine has all the pieces inside of it. I haven't looked at it in years, so.
Can you even get to it?
Yeah, it's right there in my. Hold on, it's right there in my display case.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. So,
right on.
Most of the coin stuff that I have is in the display case.
Okay.
There's a few newer things that I haven't made room for yet in there, but like the record player. But and I need to take some of the non-coin stuff out of there and put, just make it all a coin.
Well, so once you finally get that raise and that vacation at your job, I'll come down and then I'll reorganize the room because I
We've discussed this, Andrew.
Yeah.
You cannot reorganize this.
Yes, you can.
No, you can't. Where are you going to put it?
Yes, you can. Because here's the thing: like you need to do multi-level things, and you need to put heavy stuff at the bottom and things at the top. Like there's that corner where it's like all CDs from top to bottom. I'm like, you could put like 2 rows of vinyl and then put rows of CDs above that, and I'll make it so you could actually walk in the damn room.
I'll bet you $100 you could not.
I bet you I can.
I bet you can.
I bet you I can. And we'll drive around and try and garbage pick some shelving units, and then we'll paint them. I'm telling you, man, it can happen.
There's no room for shelves in here. Every piece of wall space in this room has a shelf of some kind on it.
Mm.
Every spot.
So
it's 10 by 10, Andrew. 10 by 10.
I don't even remember what show this was, but there's like a show where like some guy's like has this problem, and then like the weird guy looks at it and he just sees all these different pieces moving together and he can solve it. That's how I am when it comes to like stuff like that. Like I just see stuff that people don't see because of the OCD.
Okay. All right. Well,
it can happen. It can happen.
You can't do it, but all right.
It can happen. So let's flash back to January 2018 when we had Julian Gill on, one of the many times we had Julian on, and he was talking about the vault, and you and I were like, "Fuck, man, we gotta go. We gotta do this. We got to do this." And the more Julian talked about it, the more we wanted to do it. And then we had Keith Valcourt on, Global Project Manager of the Vault. And even then, I had already purchased mine, but we were like, man, we gotta go. So let's talk a bit about your Vault history a little bit.
Well, the Vault, I had multiple opportunities, or multiple cities that I could choose from to go to the Vault. There's Atlanta, which is relatively close to me, 5 hours away. There's Cleveland that you've invited me to as your +1. But I didn't really want to be somebody's +1 because I wanted to have the Vault.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I kept all of those options open, knowing that I really wanted to purchase a Vault myself because I wanted to actually own the Vault and maybe take a +1. And then all of the news came up with Nashville. There was always the Nashville date. Obviously, that's the one that I really wanted to go to because it was closest.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got the information that Vinnie Vincent was gonna be there. And so that was definitely the Vault experience event that I wanted to go to.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Vinnie! Thanks for coming. Oh, it's great to see everybody. We're back. What do you think of this, huh?
Awesome. Glad you came. Awesome.
Vinny's here and he's happy to answer anything you want to ask him, so ask away.
When's the last time you saw Gene?
1804.
It's got to be 20 years, don't you think?
It was 20. It's a little over 20.
Yeah, it's a little
No,
over.
it was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
It was. I saw you in Brian's office.
See, I don't get high, so I remember.
Well, Nashville the Nashville event fell on, what was the date?
April 14th.
April 14th.
April 14th.
April 14th. Well, for those of you who don't know, and I guess there could be new people watching this, but I work for a vinyl distributor. I've said that a million times.
Wait,
and
you work for a vinyl distribution company?
Yes,
I did not know that.
Yeah, I work for a vinyl distribution company, and we are an official Record Store Day distributor to stores around the world. It is a very intense 14 to 21 days prior to Record Store Day, and it's essentially our busiest time of the year. And our absolute busiest day of the year is the Saturday prior to Record Store Day. Well, we are recording this on Record Store Day.
Yeah, so basically, just to give people some insight, or to kind of make humor out of it, Record Store Day for you is like Toys R Us before the internet.
Yes, by far. So we get probably 75 skids of Record Store Day releases into our warehouse, and it's millions of dollars of inventory that has to come in and go out all within about a 10 to 14 day cycle. And we're dealing with that with a warehouse full of people, new employees that have never been through a Record Store Day. So it's been very, very stressful. I've been off of the map, as I mentioned before, have not been able to attend to anything. So anyway, the reason why I'm saying that is because the Nashville Vault event fell on the 14th, which is the Saturday before Record Store Day, which just happens to be our very busiest day of the year at my job. And I just knew the whole time, starting all the way back to when I saw the Nashville event announced, that I would likely not be able to get off of work for that day. So I was hesitant to, figure out a way to get $2,000 to pay for the vault and then take the chance of not being able to go and losing that money.
And how much does it piss you off that I think it was yesterday that they announced 10 new dates for the vault?
I'm fine with that. I don't care. No, none of them are near me, so I don't care. So
yeah, but still, but part of the reason why you wanted to go, because I think after Cleveland, I think there's maybe 4 or 5 more U.S. dates, and that's it.
Yeah, it's not much.
Yeah.
So, Atlanta's coming up in June, and I still could, tag along with someone there if they needed a +1 that they wanted to sell. But anyway, so as time drew closer and closer, I had pretty much resigned myself that I was not going to get to partake in the vault experience. One, I didn't have the money. I just didn't have an extra $2,000. My wife was not going to let me take it out of the family, money. Mm-hmm. And she pretty much said that if I was going to go, I needed to sell some of this crap behind me mm-hmm. to be able to fund it. Mm-hmm. So I didn't want to get rid of stuff like, say my 78 keychains and that particular, that kind of stuff. So anyway, I guess we'll go up to what exactly happened. So so
basically you weren't going at this point. There was no way that you were going
to the vault.
Yeah,
I was not.
There's
going
no
to
way
the
you were
vault.
going
Because of my job and because of money and just all sorts of circumstances. I was not going to the vault. So I'd pretty much just resigned myself that was going to be the situation. So I've got a friend who told me that, hey, the local radio station. This was probably 2 weeks before the vault event. I had a friend tell me, a local radio station is giving away a vault, and you need to get on there and enter. And I thought, that's pretty funny. So I'll get me and my wife to enter, and we'll see what happens. Thinking, I don't ever win anything. There's no way I'm going to win anything. So we go enter this radio station thing, and we do it every day for several days, and then I forget about it. And then the Wednesday actually the Tuesday or Wednesday before the vault, I had to go to Nashville. I'm about 2 hours outside of Nashville, an hour and a half outside of Nashville. My company had me come in, set up in a hotel, and I had to basically be at our warehouse for about 12 hours a day trying to coordinate all of this record store day stuff. So Wednesday afternoon at probably 3 o'clock, my friend who works at this said radio station said, "Hey man, you need to check your email." And then I check my email, and there's an email from the promotions director at this radio station who says, "Congratulations, Jason, you're the winner of our Gene Simmons Vault Experience giveaway." And needless to say, I about fell completely over into the floor, because here I am, I'm in Nashville. I don't have any appropriate clothing. I'm in a warehouse. I have nothing with me to get signed. I have no idea how to coordinate a +1. I'm in the middle of work. It's incredibly stressful. And I've just won this incredible gift, something that I wanted to go to. And I had to figure out how to make it happen. So the first thing I did was I called my boss, who I had been talking with closely, obviously. And I just told him what the situation was. And I said, you got to let me get away for a couple of hours on Saturday, which is, like I said, our busiest day of the year. So anyway, I go through all of that particular situation and figuring all that out. I spoke to Andrew. I called Andrew. I told him,
Hey,
I was telling him my dilemma. I don't have anything up here with me to get signed. I can't just drive 2 hours home and 2 hours back. It's a 4-hour round trip.
and I offered to get in the car, which would have been an 8-hour trip for me. And I was like, I'll pick your shit up and take it to you.
He did. I was wanting to try to get my wife to go with me, so she could come up and bring my stuff and be there to film and take pictures and stuff. And we couldn't get that worked out. It was too last minute for her to take off work on a Saturday. But anyway, she did end up driving up, and she brought me a couple items that I wanted to get signed. And so, and
how many items did you get signed, by the way?
well, I only got 2 because I wasn't thinking that I could have gotten 4 because I didn't take a +1 with me. Not smart. So, and all of that was from being unprepared and not thinking straight. I went to the vault completely unprepared. I didn't have a list of questions I wanted to ask him. I didn't have anything in my head that I wanted to talk to him about. Nothing. I just literally, it was like I rolled out of bed and went to the vault. That's how I felt about it. And so while I'm very, very grateful for getting a free vault and a free vault experience, it was not the way that I wanted to handle, or I wanted to attend this particular thing, because this is a monumental event. And I guess I'll definitely always remember it because of the circumstances that I was in at the time. But, I just wanted to be more prepared. I was not disappointed in the vault at all. The experience was incredible, but I was more disappointed in myself that I was not able to get my shit together and make it a better experience for myself personally. So.
Should be right there on the side.
Some people watching this may not be aware how the vault goes. Gene does like a songs and stories thing that's like an hour and a half to 2 hours where he's talking about the vault and my uncle is a raft and things like that. So that's really cool. Then after that, then he does the
I don't think they're an hour and a half to 2 hours. They're usually not that long.
So it's like, all right. So it's maybe about an hour.
Yeah, about an hour.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then
Nashville wasn't an hour and a half or 2 hours. So.
Well, I think Nashville was a madhouse. Nashville was like New York because of Vinny. So before we get into the day and the experience, what'd you get in your vault? I want to know.
Oh, you want to know that now?
Yeah, I want to know.
Okay, so I'm not going to complain about anything concerning the vault. We know that there are a lot of complainers that are disappointed in their gifts, And I think we were discussing beforehand that maybe 75% or so of the vault gifts are not some high end a coin collectible or something like that, or his Rolex. It's just general merchandise from his collection, which is what makes them cool. It comes out of his collection,
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I waited until after I left, the vault, and I had the vault in my car back at my job, and I, dug in to see what I had. And I had 3 items, and none of them are particularly rare or anything. So this is what I had. I think most of them have these in them. This is like a Sonic Boom pass.
So I have one that I actually. Well, those are the meet and greet ones, but I have I have a real one that got me all access on that tour.
Yeah, this is a meet and greet pass.
Still cool.
Yeah, cool. I'm fine. I don't have it. So, and then there's this little. I'm not a fan of all that plushy things. So there's just one of these little plush things
cool.
crammed, in there like that.
I had because there were 2 versions of those that came out in '98. So there was the single ones. Then there was a group one that came out in a Psycho Circus wagon, and I had the wagon box.
Yeah, the wagon. Those are rare. So
I had that.
And then I saw this. This was the first thing I saw when I opened it up, and it was yellow, and I was like, "Oh my God, is that an Alive 2 tour shirt? Oh my God, oh, an Coin Air item." And I opened it up, and it's a crew shirt.
Hey, that's still cool.
Yeah. So, and it's absolutely never been worn. It smells brand new.
Oh, that's cool.
So
that's cool.
So those were my 3 items in the vault.
Oh my God, is that a Live 2 tour shirt? Oh my God.
I thought for sure, because they had those odd colors. They had a brown shirt and a yellow shirt.
Yep.
I thought, oh man, I've got an Alive 2 shirt.
This thing, that thing, that came from another song. I stuck that as a bridge into a Paul Stanley song on Killers, and he didn't like it. So I said, okay, bitch, I'll put it in. You know how she can be. And so I took that piece when Vinny and I were trying to work on I Love It Loud. So I Love It Loud started with an idea I had, and a melody kind of thing, and I came up with the chorus, I want to hear it loud right between the eyes, that thing. But Vinny wrote all those lyrics, like all that cool stuff. Stand up, you don't have to be afraid of any words. Love is like a hurricane, hiss. And no, I never could be tamed. Better believe it. He wrote every one of those words.
But didn't you know though? Didn't you say to yourself when this was happening? God, this is good.
As soon as you hear when it's good, you can hear it.
You just.
And then when it's not good, you're working at it, got to slave away. But when it's good, it comes fast.
Oh.
Yeah.
But you say it to yourself that this.
Yeah, this is good. When it's happening.
We got a gem.
Yeah.
That whole time was that feeling for me though.
It was.
It was that whole time. Look It Up was the same feeling. Don't you miss me? Did you miss me?
No.
So the vault itself is killer. It's heavy. It's well made. It's killer.
Was it funny to watch you and other people try and carry their vaults back to the car?
Well, we didn't have to.
You didn't have to?
No, they had a staff of people at the event that lifted them up and put them on the table for him to sign instead. So when he presented it to you, and then it's actually 2 guys I knew, Scott Morgan and this gentleman named Robert. They both worked. Robert's worked for WEA, Warner Brothers, for many years. Mm-hmm. And I've known those guys from the music business for a long time. And they were actually, once he signed them and stuff and your time was over, they rolled them up to the front door for you, and then they would help you carry them. It was raining that day, so they were putting tarps over them. So they would help us carry, you'd pull your car up to the front and help you put it in your car, and then you go back and park and come back in. So I didn't have to hardly carry mine at all. So that was pretty nice. But so you want to talk about the day?
Yeah, let's talk about the day. Let's talk about paint me a picture of this day, of this rainy day in Nashville.
All right, so I wake up early Saturday morning in my hotel room in Nashville. knowing that I'd probably went to sleep at about 3:30 the morning before. I probably only had 3 or 4 hours of sleep. I'd been working all day, all night. I was exhausted and sore when I woke up Saturday morning, and I just, and it was raining. It had been beautiful all the previous days, and it was supposed to be beautiful Sunday, but it was raining Saturday. Not a hard rain, just an annoying rain.
It's funny that you mentioned that, because I remember, talking about old timers, I remember the first 5 Rothman Center KISS expos I went to fucking rained all 5 years. I remember.
Yeah.
It was funny because those used to be in April, right around that time, because they were always the Rothman Center expos was always around my birthday back then.
Rain wouldn't have been a big deal, except that A, your vault is going to get signed on top.
Yep.
And B, that you're probably going to have to be standing outside in line, because you have to line up for these things before they open the doors with your merchandise you're going to get signed. So both of those things make it a pain in the ass. Luckily, I had an umbrella in my car. That being said, Keith Valcourt was running down the row. They had went out and bought umbrellas for everybody. And who needs an umbrella?
Look at that.
Yeah. Who needs an umbrella? So they
Listen,
were coming
if
out.
anybody bitches about Keith Valcourt from here on out, you can come find me and I will punch you in the wiener.
He was great, man. He was absolutely great. And the whole event was a well-oiled, fine-tuned machine by this point.
Mm-hmm.
It's different in every city. I was watching some of the live stuff from Dallas today on my phone, and it looks like it's in some guy's house.
Some guy's house, which is weird.
And it has a bunch of KISS merchandise in it, and so that's, so obviously the logistics and the layout is going to be different in every event, because every venue is very different. And but it was this place that we did it in. It was called Indo Nashville,
mm-hmm.
and it's kind of a I think it's a songwriter's building. Mm-hmm. So they have all these little private rooms that you go in, and there's meeting rooms and conference rooms.
Yeah, if the writing songs doing cocaine, sleeping with hookers.
Right.
Okay.
That's where most of the country songwriters come, and they write songs and stuff. And I'm sure they do other events. Obviously, they did this event, but it was a killer location and a killer place to have this, because when you walked in and you went past the receptionist desk and you walked through this hallway and you went down these steps into this room that kind of looked like a little venue, but it was like a small venue. It had a small stage on one end, and definitely a performance stage set up for people to perform. And it had a bar on one side, and they had tables set up back for food and stuff. And it was the best place I could think of to have it in Nashville. So I know that the owner of this place is a huge KISS fan, and he's also in the Vault group that Joe Odell runs mm-hmm. on Facebook, and he's posted in there. He took some cool shots from behind Gene of the crowd, and me and Joe Odell, I was standing right behind Joe, and we're blocked out by Gene's head, but you can see all sorts of other people like Andy Samford. And
Andy, yeah.
Yeah, Andy's right in the middle, and he's right beside me. And I'm standing there with Pat Lucero and Neil Guido, or Guido, how you say his last name, who's moving. Neil lived in Chattanooga, and has one of the most amazing KISS collections I've ever seen. And this was his last thing that he was going to do in Tennessee, and he was moving to out west. So it was good to see him, mm-hmm. Because who knows if I'll ever get to see him again in my lifetime. But anyway, so I get there, I talked to Andy, and got the itinerary, because I didn't have a good itinerary yet. I just had that email that said I'd won. So I called Andy Samford and I said, hey man, what's the itinerary for Nashville? Because I won the Vault off of a radio station. I didn't get a pre-pack. I don't have any emails, no itinerary, nothing. I'm flying by the seat of my pants, trying to figure out how I'm going to make all this work. And so Andy gives me the itinerary, and he says, man, I'm staying at a hotel real close to there. I'm going to get there at about 10. I think they said start lining up at 10:30. I think the event starts at 11:30. He said, I'm going to get there at about 10. So I said, well, I'm going to do the same. And so I took off at about 9:40 from my job. My work is probably about 15 minutes from where the event was, so I was lucky there. And I got there, and there was it looked like about 20 people in line, and I was thinking, crap, that's going to put me about 20th in line.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, you get your vault presented to you in the order that you're lined up. So I wasn't taking into account that most of those people are there with their +1.
Mm-hmm.
So once we got in line, and they, we're all standing there, we're talking. Andy's 2 people in front of me, and there's making fast friends, having conversations, showing what we're bringing to get signed and all that stuff. So that Keith Valcourt comes out. It's not raining hard, but it's raining enough. People need umbrellas. And so they finally start letting us in a little after 11 o'clock, and then they start wristbanding us and stuff. And it's at that point in time I realized that I'm actually number 9, so, which is great. So I'm the 9th person to get my vault after, the Songs and Stories is over, because, I'm not going to be able to stay all day and all night at this event because I have to get back to work as fast as possible.
Mm-hmm.
I pretty much had about a 3-hour window that I could enjoy this. So I'm, in line. I tell them that I'm the radio winner, and that when they get to me to do the wristband, and they have a different list, and they've got me listed there, and everybody's getting their little medal or the little plate, the gold plate that has their name and embossed in it, and I don't have that, bummer. So all those extra little goodies that everybody got, like the pre-packs and stuff, I didn't get any of that stuff. I don't know if I'm eligible to get any of that stuff. I need to call.
Yeah, send customer service an email and see what they say.
Send customer service, hey, and see what happens. So, so anyway, I get there, and everybody is shocked to see me, because I had told Joe Odell is there, and I had told Joe probably 4 days prior that I was not going. I told everybody I wasn't going. And when I got that email that I had won, I only told you and Tom and my wife and my boss and Andy, and that was it. That was the only people that knew I was showing up. So I show up, and there's all these people that are there, Mike Brunn and Neil and Joe and all of these people that, we know from our Facebook groups and stuff like that, active people. And so they're all congratulating me. I'm telling them the story, having to tell the story over and over and over again. And everybody is just blown away that I have won a $2,000 vault. I didn't have to pay a dime for it. None of it. That means mind-boggling. So
it's cool. It's cool though. I like, it's cool.
Yeah. So I'm there. I'm early in line, and so when we go down the steps, we go right up to the stage, and I'm right up front. I'm one row of people deep from the stage, and there's a vault right beside me. We're right next to a window that has blackout curtains. There's a vault right beside me, and we're all kind of looking through that. Opened up that vault, and it's got a damn portion of a boot shell in it. We're like, holy crap, who gets this vault? And somebody did get that vault.
One of the members of the Gene Simmons band did.
Did they?
Yeah.
Well, there you go. So anyway, I mean, it was well oiled. The scheduling, the timing, and all that stuff. Gene come out and did a sound check, and we're chatting with him and all that stuff because we're right there. I'm 5 feet from him, and he's talking to us. And I think most of the time he spent most of the time making fun of the audio guy, the audio engineer, who's walking around with an iPad, changing volumes and levels and stuff like that. And he's bitching at him because he's not doing it analog. He's doing it digitally. And he's like, it's all or nothing, it's got to be full blast or turn it down. Oh, you got to go all the way. It's funny, and the guy's taking it like a champ, whatever, Gene, and, but they do the sound check, and then he goes off, and then, he comes back, and he starts the Song and Stories, and Keith Valcourt's with him, and, they start chatting and talking about all sorts of stuff, and Mike Brunn filmed it all. And I assume throughout this we're going to show some of that footage, hopefully. And but I don't know if I can remember specifically.
Wait, so this is the funniest thing that I find for all of these vault things, because I know a lot of people that have gotten a vault, and the music is actually the last thing that people mention. Have you put in one of those CDs yet?
Me?
Yeah.
Should we mention this?
No.
Okay.
I'm asking just about the CDs.
Okay. To be honest, no, I have not put any of the CDs in yet because I have not had time.
Or a CD player.
No, I do have a CD player. I have a CD player in my car, believe it or not. But I literally have not had time to sit down and enjoy. Today is the first day I've had off of work, of not working 12 hours a day for about 20 days in a row, including Sundays. And so I literally have not had a chance to open that book up and enjoy any of that stuff. So,
because that's what I'm looking forward to most. I mean, obviously I have Are You Ready? That was my little single giveaway in the pre-pack, so that song is cool. But what I'm looking forward to most, I'm looking forward to putting those CDs in and like reading through the book as I'm listening to the CDs, kind of like what I did with the 2001 box set. Yeah. I thought that was really, really cool that we're able to do that. Now, KISS FAQ aficionado Julian Gill has created a supplementary book for that, which you'll be able to purchase from him or at the Indianapolis KISS Expo here next month. Oh my God, it's next month. Oh my God, it's next. Geez.
Dude, it's here,
dude. Oh man, where does the time go?
I don't know, man. I don't know. But so no, I haven't gotten to listen to anything off of it other than the clips that we've heard.
Has this experience made you more of a Gene fan?
Yes. Yeah, because I haven't even gotten to the where I get my actual vault, but just the way he handled himself in the Q&A, the songs and stories and all that stuff. I know that he's regurgitating a lot of the same stories because there's specific points that he wants to get across, and Keith Valcourt is guiding him through specific points that he wants all of the vault attendees to hear. So with Mike Brunn's videos, we've seen a lot of this stuff, and but what's great is when you get the crowd interaction and people asking questions, it really pulls them into a direction of different kind of stuff, so you get to hear him talk about the Beatles and My Uncle is a Raft and those kinds of things that made Gene who he is as a songwriter and a musician. You want to hear that, and for the people who haven't seen previous events on YouTube or whatever, that's a brand new story for them. But it's just interesting here. He was talking about a little bit about the Gene Simmons band and how they've gotten him to come out of his shell and play some songs that he would never think of playing. And he actually, during Songs and Stories, played the She's So European riff on his acoustic guitar, which was killer to hear, I mean, just the riff, and their intro riff. And, his play back and forth with Keith is funny. Keith's sitting up there, asking Gene a question and then backing off while Gene talks and interacts with the fans. And Gene looks over at him and Keith is sending text messages, and Gene's like, what the hell are you doing sending text messages? We're trying to do a Q&A up here. And Keith's like, I'm ordering the chicken for these people, So Keith's up there ordering chicken to make sure we have something to eat at the vault event. And it just, I enjoyed stuff like that. It was very funny.
I enjoy stuff like that too, and that's what I'm looking forward to most. And as we're recording this, so this time next week I'll be at the vault.
That's right.
This time next week I'll be at the vault, and I couldn't be more excited because I remember, because this is all because of Julian. It really, really is because of Julian. Why?
Yeah.
Would you have done this if we hadn't had Julian talk so highly of it right after it happened?
Even if we hadn't had Julian, and if my work situation was not my work situation, I would have absolutely done it, because I was already I was convinced when the website first went up that I wanted to do it.
Well, you remember, like, we were kind of making fun of Gene a little bit when the website was first announced, and we're like, he's doing what? He's coming to your house? Like, what's he doing? What's that old safe? Like, there was a lot of ribbing that we all of us fans did because we thought it was funny.
Well, I think, there was a lot of misconceptions and a lot of misinformation at the beginning because originally everybody thought the thing was $50,000.
Correct.
That was the deal. Who's going to do that? But then when you realize that it's essentially just like any other kind of meet and greet, except you're not getting a bass guitar, you're getting a vault, and the price is the same, except you're going to get to spend more time with him than at one of these. When you buy the bass thing, lots of people buy the bass thing. It's $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, and they get to spend some intimate time with Gene, and you get to go home with a killer instrument. This is pretty much the same thing. $2,000, you get to spend, at least a good 5 minutes if you want it of intimate time with just you and him, and then you get all this other time with him as well. I mean, to me, it's a no-brainer. Once I had learned what the event was truly about, it was a no-brainer for me. Then seeing Julian,
I saw
pushed it over the edge.
I saw the videos from Julian, and like I know that was that was a unique experience where Eric and Ace and Bruce, they were all there. I know that was unique, but even just seeing all that stuff, I remember watching it, and I was going out that night with one of my bandmates, and I was like, dude, I think I'm going to do this. Yeah. He's like, what? I go, I think I'm going to do this. And then I remember clear as day, we had Julian on. We ended the call with Julian, and I was on the vault page. I let it time out 3 different times before I clicked buy. And I'll go into my story more next week when we do side B of this.
Sure,
but
sure.
I remember that, and I've had this countdown on my phone since I did it, because I did one of those iPhone countdowns. I've had it on here since I bought it, and I look at it now and it says 6 days.
That's killer.
And yeah, I just couldn't be more jazzed.
It's killer
to do it. Okay, so what did Gene write on the top of your vault?
No, I don't want to get there yet.
Okay, all right,
because we're living out a big part.
Okay, all right.
So anyway, songs and stories, talking.
Oh yeah,
singing,
that's
playing,
right. I did.
Right, and then you start to see some milling around, and Keith is saying to people, Vinny is 5 minutes away, so Vinny Vincent is going to be our guest. And I think everybody doubted that Vinny was going to show up to this thing until he actually walked into the door. Mm-hmm. And so I'm Andrew and I are part of this, little chat that some of our KISS buddies are in, and so we're
the Hoarders chat. It's the Hoarders chat.
Yeah. We're kind of updating each other on what's going on. Me and Andy are at the same event. Andy Sanford's part of this chat too, and we're just sending pictures and talking, and then Vinny's 5 minutes out, and then I can't remember. We'll have to watch the video, but I was thinking Gene might have went off and then came back out with Vinny. I think that might have been what happened. But anyway, once he got there, they both came back out, and Vinny came out with him. And it was clear to me that Vinny wanted to play some music with Gene. And I don't know if Gene was prepared for that. And it's hard to get inside of Gene's head here, because they've had nothing but a contentious relationship for the past 20 years.
More.
Right. And, but you could tell that in my opinion, that Vinny was very grateful to be there and humbled that Gene would even ask him. He definitely wanted to play. He was playing some stuff. And, what was great was they were just talking about, how they wrote "I Love It Loud," and how they wrote what's the early '90s track, "I Want to Live." Is that the song?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, how Vinny said that was his favorite song that he ever wrote with Gene, and that didn't end up on anything, and Gene was just paying Vinny lots of compliments about how great of a guitar player he was. Essentially, that he wrote almost 99% of the lyrics to "I Love It Loud," that Gene wrote the chorus and Vinny wrote every other line of that song. And it was just, it's interesting, and I was wanting more of that. And Gene was, I couldn't tell if Gene was being a little standoffish because Vinny was trying to get him to stay longer, and Gene was trying to get to the presentation of the vaults.
Do you miss us playing together?
Yes.
Do you want us to play together again?
But isn't it interesting that Lennon ripped off McCartney when he went, here we go. Then there was another Beatles song that goes boom, boom, boom. That ends with. I have to tell you this quick story, then I gotta go. So we're sitting down writing, and I'm on my own. I'm trying to figure out what to write, and I remember mining disaster. This Bee Gees song. In the event of something happening to me. It's this A minor thing, but it's like this. But they just hit the high notes. And they hit that. The event of something happening to me, there is something. So I wanted to figure out what to do with those chords, because I like that. Fuck, that's really good. I have more. Let me add this one. Oh, that's good.
After Gene did finally leave and go up to get set up, Vinny stayed out and he played a little more and he talked and answered some questions. And then somebody came and said that Gene wanted him upstairs, and I guess that was when he was presenting the vault to him. That was something that, unless you were up there, you didn't get to see. So, they had to go upstairs to this area and present the vaults. So he presented Vinny the vault, and I've, since seen that we have video footage of that now, of that happening. So then they just start calling people up, numbers 1 through 4, these names, come get in line. And the one thing I was a little bummed out about with Nashville, if I was bummed out about anything, was they didn't have us in a private room.
Oh.
So they had us, there was a little ramp. You went up these steps, and then there was this little ramp that you lined up, and then around the corner they had a table set up where they were picking the vaults up and setting the table up. So you could just stand there if you were the next person in the line and watch the person in front of you, their whole vault experience, the presentation. And which I didn't understand, because this is a songwriter venue with private rooms all over the place. So I didn't, and I still don't understand why we didn't get a private room.
Maybe they were too small, depending on what had to be done. And the backdrop was kind of cool. Like, I like all those records that were up there. I know that was the guy that was the owner's collection.
Yeah, that was wrapped all around everywhere. So there were records everywhere on the walls. So you got to, I got to experience. I got to stand there and watch all of. Andy was. 2 people in front of me. I got to watch Andy Sanford's whole interaction. He made his own personal vault for Gene. It's a little CD case with all these CDs in it, and he signed it and wrote something on it and handed it to Gene, and Gene thought it was hilarious, So, I got to see that, and it was pretty neat. So, like I said at the beginning, I was personally disappointed in myself because of how this all came about. I didn't prepare. I wasn't prepared. I didn't bring a +1. I just barely got a couple of items signed, and I should have gotten 4. I wasn't even thinking, since I didn't bring a +1.
I'm only bringing 1 item to get signed. I'm only bringing that 1 poster.
Yeah, and I didn't prepare any questions in my head for Gene, any conversation, nothing. I literally walked up to him like I would any person and just let conversation flow, which was kind of cool because we talked about random bizarre shit, And but in hindsight, I wish, there were questions that I was thinking to myself, man, why didn't I ask him that? Why didn't I ask him, hey, why is Stanley the Parrot not on the vault? Or just anything, just any random question. But so anyway, it was my turn to get my vault. And I walked up, and I handed the guy that was helping the line flow, I handed him my phone and asked him if he would video it. So he videoed it. So, we're going to throw that in here. And so I, walked over and did the fist bump. And Keith Valcourt took my 2 items that I got signed, which I got my promo first album, white label promo signed.
So you're gonna get Ace sign that in Indy?
I want to get Ace to sign it in Indy, and then I'll be down to just Peter. So unfortunately, if you can see, there were a couple little smudges right there.
That's okay. I don't mind as long as you're there when that happens. I think that's fine.
Oh, I was there.
That lets you know that it's authentic and yeah. Well, hey, Peter's doing that thing in Ontario in June.
I know.
Why don't we go?
Are you going?
Yeah.
Good.
It's only
I'm mailing.
It's only 3 hours.
I'm mailing this.
No. Because I've had several PMs for people wanting to mail me stuff for Indy and that, and I said no.
I'm different.
No, just come up.
Dude, it's 9 hours to your house, okay?
There are planes, trains, automobiles. I mean, there's lots of ways to get there. And just think here. You fly into Cleveland, and then we jump in my car. It's 3 hours from me. So we'll listen to Kiss bootlegs the whole way there, and it'll be fun.
Let's do it.
You haven't met Peter, and you need to.
I haven't met Peter.
You need to.
All right, so back to this. We'll talk about
back to this.
So the next thing I got signed was my 10th anniversary program, which I just gotten signed by Vinny in Atlanta. And Gene is on there.
So now you need Stanley the Parrot on there too.
I need Stanley the Parrot on there, and maybe even Ace. Ace is in this tour book, so we'll see. So anyway, he signed my. He actually asked me. I thought it was cool. He said, "So would you like me to sign these items?" And so I said, "Yeah, for sure." So he signed my 2 items, and we set them aside. And he was just making small talk. I remember he asked me, how's everybody treating you? How are these people? Have you tried the Gene Simmons soda and all that stuff?
We have.
Right. And I told him, I said, actually, Gene, I've got a whole case of that stuff. And he's like, oh, you do, And then he said, well, he was doing his pitch. He said, so those are going to be in 7-Elevens, whenever the date was. And I said, Gene, you do know there are no 7-Elevens in Tennessee, right? And he stopped and he looked at me and he said, Are you serious? And I said, yeah, there hasn't been in years. And he said, why is that? I don't know. There just haven't been in years, Gene.
Here's also a fun fact, too. KISS is from New York, and there is not a Walmart in any of the 5 boroughs of New York. The home ground of KISS, so that album, Sonic Boom, wasn't available in their hometown.
That's pretty crazy. So anyway, so he's pushing his sodas, and there's no 7-Elevens in Tennessee. So, but I don't know. Maybe is Rocket Fizz carrying those Gene Simmons sodas?
It's not Rocket Fizz. It's that other.
I know
company.
It's not Rocket Fizz, but I'm wondering if they're carrying them.
No, it's not. It's a totally different thing. The Rocket Fizz is KISS, and this is just Gene.
Yeah. So anyway, so then he says, so you're a big son of a bitch to me, and I said, well, you are too, Gene, and then he steps back. You can see in the video, and he starts saying, let me guess, 6'4", 265 pounds. And then I just kind of laughed at him, and I said, you're right on the 6'4", but not even close on the 265. And he was like, 275? So here I am getting my vault, and Gene's talking to me about my height and weight.
Nice. Nice.
And then he says, 275, and I said, not even close. And he says, no. And I said, I'm way bigger than that, Gene. So anyway, he walks back over to me, and he's going to take a photo with me. And right before that, I said, I'm actually 320 pounds. And he said, you don't look 320 pounds. And I said something like, I think it's because I have chicken arms. And he said, well, I like chicken. So then he grabs me and says, don't grab my ass. And then he grabs my face and he makes that.
Did that same shit to me.
And we're taking he's taking some of the pro photos, and I'm thinking to myself, I really want a regular photo with Gene, And but if this is all I get, this is all I get. And then he lets me go, and we say a couple of other things to each other. And then he walks back up to me, and we take a few regular photos with him pointing to me and all that stuff. And I think my whole experience was about 2 minutes and 40 seconds long, not 5 minutes. And I ended up posting that video later that night from my hotel room.
People bitched about it.
And people, right. I wanted to talk about this. Because people were bitching. Wow, that's $1,000 a minute. And I got to thinking about it because it had not really occurred to me that I didn't talk to Gene for 5 minutes. When it was over, I wasn't thinking to myself, what the fuck happened to my 5 minutes? I wasn't thinking that. And I don't think even if I'd actually paid $2,000 that I'd have been thinking that, because it was fucking cool as shit. It was a completely different interaction than I had with any other member of KISS during a meet and greet. Because meet and greets are like, hey, hi, here, let me sign your stuff, and you move along. But this was completely different. We were just fucking randomly chatting about random shit, stupid shit, And it just never occurred to me that, I didn't get my full 5 minutes, motherfuckers. They've ripped me off or something like that. And a couple of people had said that on the Vault page. And so I finally chimed in and I said, you know what? The only person to blame for not getting 5 full minutes with Gene is myself, because I didn't come prepared. I had no questions. I had no conversation topics. I literally just walked. I mean, I can't expect Gene to just sit there and randomly say shit to me for 5 minutes. If I'm not conversing with the guy, we wrap up and move on. And that's what he did, Once we had gotten to a natural conclusion of our conversation about 7-Elevens and my weight, and we took our pictures, I mean, he's not going to say, well, you still got 3 minutes. So what do you want to know? He's not going to do that, So you are the person that makes your experience with Gene. You've got to go to these things prepared. You've got to, if you want to ask specific questions, you've got to have them in your head. If you want to make specific statements, you've got to have them in your head, or it's going to be quick. Mm. He's going to make small talk and present you your vault and move along. So anyway, they had guys there that helped us, move our vaults out. It was raining, so they put tarps over them and helped us take them to the car. And then I came back in after I did that, and I chatted with, my friends a little bit more, Mike Brunn and Andy, and Vinny came back in when I was there and set up at a.
Did you go meet Vinny again or no?
I did not meet Vinny again.
Did you want to?
I kind of did, but I knew that I just met Vinny in Atlanta, and there was a line of probably about 20 people that was waiting to get his autograph and take photos and stuff. And I knew that was going to take a bit of time. And so I didn't want to take that away from my work. And so I just, I stood there and I was close, near him. And so I just let that time go, because I knew that I just didn't have time for it. So I probably spent about another 20 minutes, 30 minutes down there talking to everybody and going around and saying my goodbyes to Pat and his wife Carol and Joe and all of those people. And then I left. I think I'd been there for about 3 hours, and I went back to work. And I worked. And that was my vault experience.
Still cool. So tell me, what did Gene write on the top of your vault?
Oh, yeah.
Because I know you can't lift it up to show us, so you're going to have to drop in a picture.
Yeah, here's a picture of it. But you also got to come prepared with, to tell him something that you want written on your vault.
I'm actually going to type it out and just have it there. That's what
a lot of people did that.
Smart.
So this was another thing I was not prepared for. I knew that I wanted a lyric from one of my favorite songs of his, and I was juggling between 2 or 3 songs. But my all-time favorite KISS song and my all-time favorite Gene song is a song that most people don't even think about when they think about Gene, is You're All That I Want off Unmasked. And for various reasons, and has been for many years. And that's a love song. So you got to be careful about what, you don't write, "You're all that I want, you're all that I need," to Jason, "You're all that I want." You don't put that. So there is one line. So there's one line in there that says, "I want you to believe it's true. There's nothing I'd rather do. My heart belongs to you and no one else." I just had him write that first line. "I want you to believe it's true." Gene Simmons, it has multiple meanings, and it's part of that song, which is my favorite song, which I know you think is silly, but that's what I wanted written.
But I think so many, I think a lot of things are silly, so that's not like, there's not like there's no preferential silly treatment there.
No,
you could have written the coolest thing in there. It'd be like, gay. This just because that's just what I do. So,
right. So yeah, it doesn't bother me, and the couple of people I told to while I was there what I had written, like Pat and them, they thought it was cool, or at least they told me they thought it was cool, and so I'm very happy with it. It's very nice. You can see in the photo here, it's a great signature, So overall, it was an incredible event, and the only real negative that I can think of is that it was sprung upon me and I wasn't prepared. And
well, I mean, if you look at your This Week in Gene Simmons email, which I don't get those every week, so that's annoying to me. That I don't get those every week. So, and I've already trashed it just because, like I said, I don't get them every week, and it annoys me that I don't get them every week. But anyway, here are some of the new dates that are announced: August 18th, San Francisco, California; August 19th, Costa Mesa, California; September 16th, New Haven, Connecticut; September 25th, Washington, D.C.; September 26th, New York City, again; October 10th.
That's interesting.
Yeah, October 10th, Portland, Oregon; November 7th, Orlando, Florida; and November 9th, San Diego, California. So get your Vault Experience tickets now. And, I mean, I think it's funny that he's hitting some of the cities twice now. And I'm just scrolling through the site now, looking. It's interesting that he starts in San Francisco in August, then he goes to Australia, and then Japan, and then comes back to the United States. So, but it's interesting. So, like we mentioned before, he's in Dallas today, and then next week he's in Cleveland. Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait. I've been thinking about it probably nonstop, and I'll read you. Ooh, almost dropped that. I'll read you. I was texting back and forth with one of my friends this morning, and she was giving me the business last night about the vault, and because I've been posting about it on Facebook a lot. So I sent her the vault image, and then she's like, "Hey, are you excited about the vault?" And I go, "There's a vault? Will it be in Cleveland?" She's like, "Dude, Gina's gonna hand deliver that shit." And I was like, "Hand deliver?" And then she sent a picture of his hair. So even my friends know that I'm excited for this, and it's gonna be at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and I'm super excited to see what happens and all that. So 7 days. As right now, I'll probably be getting my vault next week, with judging how the time goes, depending on what time I get there.
Depending on what time you get there, you could have probably already had your vault by now. So
yeah, but the problem, like I'm thinking, is I know you said that you put the vault in your car and then came back in. Mm-hmm. There's the parking situation around the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Not so good.
Yeah,
not so good.
Yeah,
and
this place in Nashville didn't have the greatest amount of parking. It had a gravel lot, kind of a gravel lot in behind it where you could probably fit about 20 cars. So I was in the back of that lot and had to go get my car and drive it up to the front on the street, and then we carried the vault out, put it in the car, and then I had to go back and find another spot so I could park and go back.
See, I will
just hope that it's not raining.
Check our 10-day weather forecast, because it is Cleveland, so it'll probably rain, because it always rains here. Actually, so far next Saturday, sunny and 53 degrees. So if it is that'll be awesome.
Yeah,
that will be awesome. So
is there anybody that you personally know that's doing the vault in Cleveland?
Unfortunately.
Well, never mind. I was going to ask you to tell me who it was, but
There are a couple people who I've met at expos and who I've seen and who listen to the show. So there's quite a few people that are excited to come there. And it's always odd to me that people are like, oh yeah, we're going and we're excited to see you while we get the vault. I'm like, excited to see me. I'm like, do you know that I'm a prick? Like, do you know? Do you know?
I do. I do.
You know? So but yeah. So there's a lot of people going that I know. And I think I actually convinced a couple people to buy the vault.
Yeah.
Because it's just going to be fun.
Well, I still have the opportunity, if I can, work out some cash here, to purchase a second one, which would just technically be my first purchase.
Yeah.
And go down to Atlanta and do it again and be more prepared.
Yeah, yeah. My friend Martin Alvarez is doing it in Atlanta, and he just sold a couple of KISS tchotchkes to finance to do that. So,
and I may do the same. So,
you know,
what the hell am I going to do with 2 vaults? I don't want to get rid of them because they're going to. If I got a second vault, it would be personalized to me as well.
Uh-huh.
I don't want to get rid of them.
Or you could just have it shipped to you, and the ones that are shipped to you are not signed and personalized.
Yeah, but
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Take here's what you do. Find somebody who's going to be the +1 with you. Go in halfsies and say you could have this vault.
Yeah.
You could have this vault, and all 4 items that are being signed are mine. You know, do it like that.
Yeah. I mean, there's multiple options.
There are a lot of
multiple options. Yeah.
So, I'm stoked. I'm stoked. I'm glad that we got to do it, and I'm probably gonna watch that video of us and Julian again about how excited we were about it. We're like, we gotta do it. We fucking got it. And then we both.
Yeah, it was fun, man.
We both got to do it. So, all right. Well, any parting thoughts?
If you're on the fence about doing the vault,
You've said this so many times. Just fucking do it.
I
Just do it.
I
Make your
haven't
dreams
spoken-
come true.
I haven't spoken to anyone who's been disappointed that's actually done the vault. Not a single person. So, GeneSimmonsVault.com. As another thing, during Songs and Stories, he kept saying, just go to GeneSimmonsVault.com. And Keith finally looked at him and said, you do know that all these people have already bought the vault, right? There's really no reason to be telling them to go to GeneSimmonsVault.com. So, another person that was there that I was happy to hang out with is Keith LaRue was there. And so I had a chance to chat with him. It was really great to meet Joe Odell. I've known Joe online for a while now, and he's a super nice guy in person, man. Huge dude. He's as tall as me, except he's muscular.
Oh.
He slapped me on the back, and I thought he broke my back. He's
Hey, brother!
Yeah, he was so pumped that I was there, and he gave me a big hug, like a big bear hug. He was there with his sweet girlfriend and or girlfriend. I think it was his girlfriend, and but he slapped me on the back a couple times. I was like, Jesus, man, I'm a big dude. Lay off. That hurt, So, but it was cool getting to spend time with all the other people there that I knew, And Nashville was definitely a special event with Vinny being there.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. Well, there's no guest in Cleveland, so I'm the special guest in Cleveland.
Oh, good.
And yeah, so it's cool. Go to GeneSimmonsVault.com and get yours.
That's it. That's my parting thoughts. Well, this is part A, by the way.
Turn over to side B, and then you'll get to hear my vault experience.
Here, Andrew's vault experience. So we'll see you on the flip side.
All right. See ya.